Welcome back to the Unsearching series. In this episode, we explore light as the universal language of energy and awareness. Light is the first thing we see when we open our eyes and the last image imprinted when they close. It defines what we call visibility, yet its essence remains one of the great mysteries of science and spirit alike. Physics describes light as both wave and particle, a dual nature that defies intuition. Spirit describes light as consciousness itself, the first expression of awareness into form. Across disciplines, light serves as the bridge between energy and information. It reveals, transmits, and sustains life. The cells in our bodies communicate through faint flashes of biophotons. Stars transmit energy across vast distances, nurturing planets they will never see. Thought itself may ride on electromagnetic waves that shimmer through the brain's fields. To study light is to study communication in its purest form. What if the entire universe is engaged in one vast dialogue made of vibration? And what if your own awareness is not separate from that dialogue but one of its luminous expressions? This episode is drawn from the ebook, Bridging Science and Spirituality by Jethro Orion, available through the link in the description below. So take a breath, settle in, and let us begin. Part 1. The physics of light's dual nature. Light exists at the intersection of energy and matter. In the early 20th century, experiments such as the photoelectric effect revealed that light behaves as both wave and particle. Albert Einstein explained that light carries discrete packets of energy called photons, while James Clerk Maxwell's equations showed that it travels as oscillating electric and magnetic fields. Together, these discoveries built the foundation for quantum electrodynamics. The electromagnetic spectrum stretches from radio waves to gamma rays, all manifestations of the same field varying in frequency and wavelength. Human eyes detect only a narrow band of this spectrum, yet that sliver defines what we call visible reality. The rest, the infrared warmth of bodies, the ultraviolet glow of stars, the cosmic background radiation still humming from the Big Bang, continues unseen. Light travels at a constant speed in a vacuum, a universal measure against which motion and time themselves are defined. Every photon, regardless of frequency, moves at the same pace, suggesting that light occupies a unique status in the cosmos. It is both messenger and boundary, connecting every scale of being. To approach light scientifically is to stand at the threshold of mystery. Part 2. Photons and the architecture of information. Photons do not carry mass, yet they transmit energy, momentum, and information. Each interaction between light and matter conveys data about structure and state. At the atomic level, electrons absorb and release photons, producing spectral signatures that allow scientists to read the composition of stars light years away. In this sense, light is a universal language through which matter reveals its identity. Quantum theory adds further depth. A single photon can exist in superposition, occupying multiple potential paths until observed. Experiments with quantum entanglement demonstrate that pairs of photons can remain correlated across vast distances, changing together as if still connected. These correlations appear instantaneous, transcending spatial limits. Physicists interpret them as evidence that information, at its deepest level, may not be confined by space or time. Light thus becomes more than illumination, it is communication written into the structure of reality. Every emission and absorption carries a message about relationship, resonance, and change. Through this exchange, the universe continually informs itself, maintaining coherence across scales. Part 3. Light within life, Biophotons and cellular communication. In recent decades, research in biophysics has uncovered that living cells emit ultra-weak light known as biophotons. These emissions, measured in the ultraviolet and visible range, arise from metabolic reactions and appear to play a role in regulating biological functions. Studies suggest that DNA acts as both a source and receiver of these faint photons, guiding cellular processes through coherent light signals. This implies that the body does not rely solely on chemical messengers, it also communicates through electromagnetic dialogue. Nerves transmit electricity, cells exchange light, and the entire organism functions as a luminous network. Some researchers propose that this biophotonic field could underlie phenomena such as morphogenesis and biological rhythm synchronization. Seen through this lens, life itself becomes a conversation of light, an orchestra of frequencies sustaining order within the apparent chaos of biology. Every heartbeat and breath participates in this radiance, joining the same fundamental language spoken by stars. Part 4. Consciousness and the spectrum of perception. Human experience is shaped by light not only physically but perceptually. The brain transforms electromagnetic waves into color, depth, and form. Photoreceptor cells in the retina respond to photons, translating their energy into electrical impulses. These impulses travel to the visual cortex, where interpretation transforms vibration into imagery. The world we see is a rendering, a synthesis of energy and awareness. Beyond the sensory level, light also serves as metaphor and medium for consciousness itself. Across spiritual teachings, light represents insight, revelation, and awakening. In meditation, many report visions of inner luminosity that arise when mental noise fades. Such descriptions may correspond with changes in neural coherence and heightened synchronization of brain rhythms. From this union of science and experience, a profound suggestion emerges: the same principles that govern physical light may also describe the nature of awareness. Both illuminate, both reveal, both unify. The external photon and the inner witness may be two expressions of a single radiant continuum. Part 5. Light as divine intelligence. Mystical traditions describe light as the first manifestation of consciousness, the primordial act of creation. In the Hebrew Genesis, creation begins with "Let there be light." In Buddhist and Vedic writings, light symbolizes pure knowing before form arises. In Islamic cosmology, the light of Muhammad represents the first radiance from which all existence emanates. Each points to light as divine intelligence expressing itself through frequency and vibration. When viewed scientifically, the universe indeed began as light. Following the Big Bang, photons filled the cosmos, creating the radiant plasma from which matter condensed. Even now, cosmic background radiation carries the memory of that origin, bathing space in a faint afterglow. The story of creation, then, is also the story of light discovering form. If consciousness pervades reality, then light becomes its primary instrument of communication, the means by which awareness articulates itself into the physical world. Every atom and every mind is part of that radiant dialogue. Part 6. The universe speaking itself. Physics presents light as energy and geometry. Biology reveals it as communication. Spirituality recognizes it as intelligence. Together they describe one phenomenon: the universe expressing itself through vibration and awareness. Every star, cell, and thought participates in this luminous exchange. When we perceive light, we are not separate observers but participants in its conversation. The photons striking the eye once traveled from distant suns; their energy becomes part of our perception, joining inner and outer worlds. To see light is to share identity with it. Let this recognition be both scientific and sacred. You are not merely witnessing illumination, you are the field through which it becomes visible. Every act of perception is a point of contact between consciousness and creation. You are not observing the light. You are the light becoming aware of itself. This episode is inspired by Zest Publishing's ebook, Bridging Science and Spirituality by Jethro Orion, where these ideas are explored in greater depth. You can find the link to the ebook in the description below. Thank you for joining me in the Unsearching series. If this exploration spoke to you, please like, share, and subscribe so that more listeners can find their way to this space of reflection and quiet understanding.